Gopijanavalabha Girivardhari
Jaya Gopijanavalabha Girivardhari
Gopijanavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopijanavalabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. What's going on over there, Zach? What are you doing over there? Oh, okay. Bowing down to the Mridanga. So this morning we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 4, Chapter 2, Daksha curses Lord Shiva. We're on text 31. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Esha eva hi lokanam Shiva Panta Sanatanaha Yang Purve Chanu Santastur Yat Pramanam Janardanaha Esheva hi lokanam Shiva Panta Sanatanaha Yang Purve Chanu Santastur Yat Pramanam Janardanaha Esheva hi lokanam Shiva Panta Sanatanaha Yang Purve Chanu Santastur Yat Pramanam Janardanaha
Panta Sanatanaha Yam Purve Chan Santashtur Yat Pramanam Janardanaha Esha Eva Hilokanam Shiva Panta Sanatanaha Yam Purve Chan Santashtur Yat Pramanam Janardanaha Esha Eva Hilokanam Shiva Panta Sanatanaha Yam Purve Chan Santashtur Yat Pramanam Janardanaha Esha Eva Hilokanam Shiva Panta Sanatanaha Yam Purve Chan Santashtur Yat Pramanam Janardanaha
Esha eva hilokanam
Esha Eva Hilokanam
Shiva Panta Sanatanaha
Shiva Panta Sanatanaha
Yam Purve Chan Santashtur
Yam Purve Chan Santashtur
Yat Pramanam Janardanaha
Yat Pramanam Janardanaha
Like to chant Jagannath Tirtha?
Esha Eva Hilokanam Shiva Panta Sanatanaha Yam Purve Chan Santashtur Yat Pramanam Janardanaha
Okay. So word by word. Eshaha, the Vedas. Eva, certainly. He, for. Lokanam, of all people. Shivaha, auspicious. Pantaha, path. Sanatanaha, eternal. Yam, which. Vedic path. Purve, in the past. Cha, and. Anusantastuhu, was rigidly followed. Yet, in which. Pramanam, the evidence. Janardanaha, Janardan. Translation. The Vedas give the eternal regulative principles for auspicious advancement in human civilization, which have been rigidly followed in the past. The strong evidence of this principle is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is called Janardan, the well-wisher of all living entities. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, has claimed that he is the father of all living entities, regardless of form. There are 8,400,000 different species of life forms, and Lord Krishna claims that he is the father of all. Because the living entities are parts and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are all sons of the Lord. And for their benefit, because they are hovering under the impression that they can lord it over material nature, the Vedas are given to them for their guidance. Therefore the Vedas are called Aparushaya, for they are not written by any man or demigod, including the first living creature, Brahma. Brahma is not the creator or author of the Vedas. He is also one of the living beings in this material world. Therefore, he doesn't have the power to write or speak the Vedas independently. Every living entity within this material world is subject to 4 deficiencies. He commits mistakes, he accepts one thing for another, he cheats, and he has imperfect senses. The Vedas, however, are not written by any living creature within this material world. Therefore, they are said to be Aparushaya. No one can trace out the history of the Vedas. Of course, modern human civilization has no chronological history of the world or the universe, and it cannot present actual historical facts older than 3,000 years. But no one has traced out when the Vedas were written, because they were never written by any living being within this material world. All other systems of knowledge are defective because they have been written or spoken by men or demigods who are products of this material creation. But Bhagavad Gita is a Parushaya, for it was not spoken by any human being or any demigod of this material creation. It was spoken by Lord Krishna, who is beyond the material creation. That is accepted by such stalwart scholars as Shankaracharya, not to speak of other acharyas such as Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya. I'm just going to take a little water. Excuse me. It's a long purport. Shankaracharya has accepted that Narayan and Krishna are transcendental, and in Bhagavad Gita also Lord Krishna has established Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Anyone remember what that means, the younger devotees? Yeah, I'm the source of all material and spiritual, everything emanates from me. Yeah. Prabhupada says here, I am the origin of everything, everything emanates from me. This material creation, including Brahma and Shiva and all the demigods, has been created by him, for everything has emanated from him. He also said that the purpose of all the Vedas is to understand him. Vedishcha sarvaraham eva vedyaha. He is the original Vedavit, or knower of the Vedas, and Vedanta Krit, or compiler of the Vedanta. Brahma is not the compiler of the Vedas. In the beginning of srimadbhagavatam it is established, Tene Brahma Shriddha, the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, instructed Brahma in the Vedic knowledge through his heart. Therefore, the evidence that Vedic knowledge is free from the defects of mistakes, illusions, cheating, and imperfection is that it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardhan, and has thus been followed from time immemorial, beginning from Brahma. The Vedic religion, or the principles of the Vedas, have been followed by the highly cultured population of India since time immemorial. No one can trace out the history of Vedic religion. Therefore, it is Sanatan, and any blasphemy against the Vedas is calculated to be atheism. The Vedas are described as Setu, which means a bridge. If one wants to attain his spiritual existence, one has to cross an ocean of nescience. The Vedas are the bridge by which to cross such a great ocean. The Vedas describe how to divide the human race into 4 divisions according to quality and working capacity. This is a very scientific system, and it is also Sanatan, for no one can trace out its history, and it has no dissolution. No one can stop the system of Varna and Ashram, or the castes and divisions. For example, whether or not one accepts the name Brahmin, there is a class in society which is known as the intelligent class, and which is interested in spiritual understanding and philosophy. Similarly, there is a class of men who are interested in administration and in ruling others. In the Vedic system, these martially spirited men are called Kshatriyas. Similarly, everywhere there is a class of men who is interested in economic development, business, industry, and money-making. They are called Vaishyas. And there is another class who are neither intelligent nor martially spirited nor endowed with the capacity for economic development, but who simply can serve others. They are called Shudras, or the labor class. This system is Sanatan. It comes from time immemorial, and it will continue in the same way. There is no power in the world which can stop it. Therefore, since this Sanatan Dharma system is eternal, one can elevate himself to the highest standard of spiritual life by following the Vedic principles. It is stated that formerly the sages followed this system. Therefore, to follow the Vedic system is to follow the standard etiquette of society. But the followers of Lord Shiva, who are drunkards, who are addicted to intoxicants and sex life, who do not bathe, and who smoke ganja, are against all human etiquette. The conclusion is that persons who rebel against the Vedic principles are themselves the evidence that the Vedas are authoritative, because by not following the Vedic principles, they become like animals. Such animalistic persons are themselves evidence of the supremacy of the Vedic regulations. Almikanatividandasya Gunanjana Shalakya Chakshudamalitam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Kam Karivachalam Pangam Langaite Grim Yakhipa Tamaham Pande Shri Gurundiditaranam Vancha Kapagubisha Kipasindabhavacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaurabhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll read the translation again. The Vedas give the eternal regulative principles for auspicious advancement in human civilization, which have been rigidly followed in the past. The strong evidence of this principle is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is called Janardhan, the well-wisher of all living entities. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, there's a verse spoken by Krishna, and it's Yashastram vidam utsraja vartate kamakarataha nasa siddham avapnoti nasukam na param gatim. So Krishna says, he, or she, he says, he who disregards scriptural injunctions, means rejects the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, the srimadbhagavatam, so many other different Vedic literatures, and acts according to his own whims, means their own mental concoctions, their own ideas of happiness, their own ideas of success, attains neither perfection, nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. So practically they miss out on everything. They miss out on everything that's important. So they do not gain perfection, they do not gain happiness, and do not attain the supreme destination. The people who reject the Vedic literatures and act according to their own whims. So as Javita Prabhu mentioned yesterday, he said he comes up with all these sayings, right? So he came up with a saying in relation to the Vedic literature, right? He said, learn it, right? You learn it, and you live it, and then you give it, right? Means you give out the knowledge. So, yeah, that's the question. That how much have we learned it, the Vedic literature? That's we should ask ourselves that. How much have I learned the Srimad Bhagavatam? How much have I learned the Bhagavad Gita? How much can I explain the Bhagavad Gita? And also important is not that we just learn it, right? Because there's many mundane scholars who know the Bhagavad Gita very well. They may even know it more than some of us. Means the technical aspects, memorization of it. So not just to learn it, but to live by it, what it's saying. That's very important. So we also have to ask ourselves that. How much am I living by the regulations of the scriptures, or the instructions of the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and so on. And then also important within this age, because within this age, I mean, some people are still looking for gurus. It sometimes happens. But most people think they're gurus, So there's no need to look for a guru because they are a guru, People should come to them for enlightenment. But anyways, in days of yore, there was actually a tradition that people would actually go search out a guru because they felt that I need to be enlightened and I need help, right? Nowadays, people are very shameless and they think they don't need help, right? I mean, there's a story. I think Javita Prabhu, you know this. What two disciples? Srila Prabhupada took the Jaladuta, and when Prabhupada arrived, he got off the boat, and then two devotees who later on got initiated by Srila Prabhupada, they hopped on the boat. Oh, okay. Yeah, they did take the boat back, not maybe the exact same time, but they took the same boat, the Jaladuta, two disciples of Prabhupada, back to India. So when Prabhupada arrived, they more or less left to India to find a guru. Who was that? Yeah, Hari Girvan Kirtananda. So, and later they came back to America and they found Prabhupada. So they were searching for... Yeah. Yeah. So they were looking for a guru. So it sometimes happens, not then and now. But for the most part, it's not happening. And therefore, it's important that devotees actually try to give out the message of Krishna consciousness, give out the message, because it's not that people are lining up, oh, please help me, please save me, please give me knowledge, right? And why is that? Now, so people may say, oh, well, why do we have to go out and try to give Krishna consciousness to others? I mean, isn't that kind of being too pushy? Isn't that being too pushy? Isn't that being, is that really necessary? And factually it is, because the fact is everybody's looking for happiness, but they don't exactly know where to find it. So they're all looking for happiness, and we have a means for them to be happy, a means to connect them with Krishna. And the fact is that they're so, you could say, caught up in illusion, so caught up in madness, is that so it really requires somebody to go out of their way and communicate to them, hey, well, by the way, there's a temple here, hey, we have some gatherings going on, here's a book, because they're just so caught up, they're so, you could say, jacked up on the mode of passion, or so, I don't know what you'd say the opposite of jacked up is, because I'm thinking of something about the mode of ignorance. They're so stupefied by the mode of ignorance that, they can't get it together to think of any other alternative. That's the point. So they're so jacked up in the mode of passion and so busy that they have no time to think of any alternative, positive alternative. And they're so stupefied by the mode of ignorance that they also have no, time and no energy to think of an alternative. So that's where devotees come in. They knock on their doors and say, hey, Haribol, and here, take a book, and wake up, right? And devotees go on Harinam and so on. So to give it. And Srila Prabhupada said that the Vedic literature, it is like, for example, you have a pocket dictionary, and then you have Prabhupada said, a 10,000 page dictionary. And he said, obviously one is superior. It means it has more information. So devotees asked him in relation to other religious paths and other religious scriptures, and that's what Srila Prabhupada said. There's a pocket dictionary, and then there's a 10,000 page dictionary. So it's not that the pocket dictionary is false or unimportant, it just has less information. Now some people will get offended by that, right? Especially the people of other religions, following other religious scriptures, say, hey, oh, you guys are claiming you have the 10,000 page dictionary and we have the pocket dictionary. So that's true, people get offended. But the truth has to be spoken. And if you call a person a thief, right? If I say, hey, Zach, you're a thief, and you're stealing all the burfies. You stole all the burfies this morning. Oh, all the dry fruit. Yeah, you stole all the dry fruits this morning, right? Now, if you didn't do that, then I'm out of line. I'm calling you a thief, and you make it blaspheming a devotee, right? But if you're actually a thief, if you actually did steal the dry fruit, then it's a valid statement. So to call a thief is not bad. So to say that, okay, the Bhagavatam and other books, it's like the 10,000 page dictionary, and other religious scriptures are like the pocket dictionary. It's just, factually, it's actually quite large. The Bhagavatam in relation to the Bible, for example. Yeah, one volume of the Bible and the Bhagavatam's quite. So, and the Bhagavatam specifically, I'm talking about the Bhagavatam, but the Bhagavatam is supremely unique in that it goes into so much detail, right? It goes into detail of the lower planets, what happens there, right? It goes into detail of the higher planets. There's the whole fifth canto, right, with cosmology and the universe, and it goes into all those details. And most importantly, right, because ultimately we want to transcend all these realms. Most importantly is it goes into the details of the spiritual world, and it may inspire us to go there, right? Like David Meet the Swami said when he was here a few days ago. He said right about that prominent speaker and leader, Billy Graham. Billy Graham said, that when I go to heaven, they asked him what's going to happen. And he said, I'm going to be driving down the street in my gold Cadillac or whatever he said, and on gold paved roads, and I'm going to be going to different parties, right, hosted by angels. That's what he said. So that was his answer. Yeah, Reverend. Yeah, so it is amazing people's conceptions are actually absolutely amazing. I mean, even in spiritual life, I mean, even in this world, they set up churches in certain ways. I mean, I was listening to a lecture by Tamal Krishna Goswami. He was talking about churches in Texas, and he said that yeah, they had a church, and it's like really huge, and he said they even put a bowling alley in it, And their idea is to kind of whatever, how like in backward churches they got a basketball hoop, for kids or whatever. But he said, yeah, it's really big. They put a bowling alley, and then he said, I even think they put a McDonald's in it, on the side or whatever. So to attract people, because people, they need to go to church somehow, socially or for sports, and then they hear the sermon also. I remember I went to a church in Southern Oregon. I was it's probably like 15 or something, and it was a huge church. I mean, just like packed, like, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, big auditorium. And one of the things, somehow or other, that they did to attract the youth, the passionate, destructive, motive, ignorance, influence youth, how they are, teenage boys sometimes, they just like destroying stuff, So what they did is outside of their meeting hall in the church, they had a big car. They had a car. And what the program was is that all the boys, and maybe some girls too, but usually girls are less, into that stuff, but they would give the boys the baseball bat. Like, for example, Zach, you're there, here's the baseball bat, here's the sledgehammer, and just, go for it a few times, And that's what they were doing, they're just like destroying this car, right? No, I don't think so. They weren't chanting Hare Krishna, they weren't chanting any Christian songs, they were just destroying the car. And then afterwards, whatever, they heard the sermon and all that in the auditorium. So yeah, the conceptions of this world and that religious people propagate in this world, and what to speak of the conceptions of heaven people have, sometimes they could be quite bizarre. So luckily, we have the Bhagavatam, and like I said, it goes into great detail of the spiritual world and the positive nature of the spiritual world. So this is actually we always have to keep this in mind, that it is supremely unique, and therefore we shouldn't be misers in sharing the gift of this spiritual literature. And therefore we have, right, Shastra Dan, the gift of Scripture. So when somebody walks into the door, whether they're Indians, because also Indians need books, a lot of Indians come. A lot of them don't have Prabhupada's books. They have whatever, some other translation and commentary by Ramakrishna or whatever, Bhagavad Gita, or Dr. Radhakrishna, or something not bona fide. So whether they're Indians or Americans or whoever they are, they need books. So when they come into the door, we should also be thinking like, let's give these people books. And then what to speak of going out? We should try to give as many books and as possible, all over. In this way, we will be able to reach. Now, sometimes devotees, they get into this, that, nobody reads books nowadays. Now, of course, amongst the younger generation, unfortunately, that is becoming the case more and more and more. They read their Facebook message, right? That's as far as their attention span goes. They read that, and then that's how they're getting their knowledge. The Facebook messages and stuff, or videos, right? So yes, as time goes on, that's the case. But nonetheless, there are still people out there, and they're called, the intelligent class, or people who are, you could say, Brahmanically inclined and so on, that do read books. Whether they're young or old or whatever, they still read books. So if we are able to give books to such people, that will completely transform their lives. Just like Devamrita Swami. Such a powerful, such an intelligent person. We're so lucky to have him on our side, you could say. But that's a perfect example. He was going in a whole different direction, right? Yale and whatever he was going to do with his life, he was planning, materially. And he got some of Prabhupada's books. And what did he do? He read them, and read them, and read them, and read them some more, and then please don't mind. But Jagannath Tirtha, he also got Prabhupada's books before he came. He read the whole Bhagavatam, right? Before he visited the temple, he read the whole Bhagavatam. And that had impact, obviously, on his life. Look at him now. He's now, wearing tilak and all that stuff. It's obviously had impact. So the point is that there's people out there like that. And therefore we should try to give the books as much as possible. And, therefore Srila Prabhupada said the books are like the time bomb, right? Time bomb means it may take some time to go off, but eventually it hits the right person and it goes off. It means they read it and benefit. So therefore Srila Prabhupada, he was very, very, he was really trying his hardest to establish a group of people in this world who could be benefit to others, means good association. Because, the main problem in this world, practically speaking, is this satsanga, this bad association. Because by bad association, we get bad ideas. In other words, by wicked association, we get wicked ideas. And then from those wicked ideas, what are those wicked? They dwell in our mind, right? And over time, we feel inspired and we act on those wicked ideas. And that's what the whole world's doing. And if we analytically look at what's going on in the world, society is producing a class of absolutely shameless people, like 100% shameless people, and they're absolutely 100% animalistic, and it's actually quite pathetic in that they're only, practically speaking, their only thoughts are geared towards, okay, how am I going to, they're completely absorbed, focused, they're expending all their energy on gratifying the material body, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, just like, unfortunately I was upstairs last night and I was reading, that's fortunate, but while I was reading, I heard these guys next door, and I was like, oh man, I really wish I wouldn't be here. Because they were just saying some really gross things, which I won't repeat. And I was just thinking, wow, this is embarrassing. But this guy's shameless, He's just shameless. He's saying all types of nonsense. It was all types of nonsense. Absolutely shameless. I also may struggle with certain, you could certain anarthas, right? But I'm actually embarrassed about it, But these guys are shamelessly, laughing and like promoting their anartas like it's a wonderful thing, like how like they're how they're what they're saying is so degrading and so horrible, but they're almost proud about it, And factually speaking, so many people are like that. I mean, you look at the movie industry. I mean, I don't even want to imagine what the movie industry is nowadays. I mean, I joined 12 years ago, and I remember the movies when growing up. Means the movies that they put out in the theaters, how degrading they were. I mean, I can't even imagine what they're putting out now. And also the music, I remember. So it's all increasing, and then it's influencing the youth, So, yeah, it's creating people that are shameless, women and men. And therefore, we should think about these things and try to qualify ourselves. We should try to qualify ourselves as individuals so we could be sources of help and inspiration, and not sources of the same problem, right? They have the saying, right? You're either part of the solution or part of the problem, right? So we have to qualify ourselves. And to qualify ourselves may not be easy. I mean, we have to come to reality that when it comes down to it, sorry to say, but we actually have to suffer for Krishna. That's what we have to do. I mean, just living in the city, I mean, that's also a source of suffering for, how it is, it can be considered a source of suffering, but we do it for Krishna. We do it for the mission of Krishna. And suffer in the sense that, people are willing to suffer for so many things. I mean, you have these people, they go to Africa, right, and they're trying to help all the poor people there, and they're struggling and suffering and not eating properly and going under hardships. And people are doing that politically. People are doing that on all realms of life. People are doing that. They're suffering for the benefit of humanity. So it's not going to be that, we become devotees and that it's we're not going to experience any hardships, but we will. But the thing is, we're doing it for the best reasons. Just like Prabhupada. To travel the world and do what he did and, deal with the stuff he did. Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, he said that somehow or other, because with Prabhupada's letters, you read Prabhupada's responses to all of his disciples, right? But you don't read the incoming letters. So in other words, you don't get to read what devotees wrote Prabhupada. All their problems and issues and all that. But somehow or other, I don't know how, but Ravindra Swarup Prabhu said he saw some of the letters that devotees wrote to Prabhupada. And he said he was just shocked. He said, I can't believe he had to deal with all of us like this. So, that was a cause of, distress for Prabhupada. Of course, he was doing it for his spiritual master, and, it was necessary to do, and he was happy to do it. But we all have our suffering we have to do for the mission of Krishna. So, there's only... So in relation to proof, like it says here, proof. So, when it comes down to it, like some people, Prabhupada's mentioned Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. Some people, they say, who are these people? Who cares for these people, and do these people even exist, right? So, therefore Prabhupada would a lot of the times also speak on logic, from a logical point of view. But anyways, the point is it's hard to prove anything, and most of what people accept as true is based on their experience. And ultimately that's in many ways how people are convinced about Krishna consciousness, is their experience. So therefore we have to give people the experience, and we ourselves have to apply ourselves to have that experience. So does anyone have any questions or comments? Yes. Yeah.
There was, and you talk about this, when you were going to movies and things, and I'm looking at the span of my life, what they've gone from,
Yeah.
and artists, according to Balarama, are singers.
Yeah.
They're actually low-class people. I mean, you can generalize all the time. Bhagavatam says that they're supers. They're actually low-class people. And those low-class people have become the exemplars for society. Like I had an experience with my neighbors. Because we're all home, all the doors are open, it's hot. And we've all experienced it. But the topics and the language on the so-called music, I mean, Prabhu says it sounds like factory machinery. But it's just shocking when you actually stop and hear what they are saying and what they're talking about. It's just unbelievable trash.
Yeah.
That in my day, someone wouldn't even dare to say something like that. They'd be hesitant, they'd be embarrassed. And like you say, it's just shameless. And because they're accepted as exemplars, we used to talk about cultural wars. They used to be the cultural wars. You still find it in different places. That people would say, wait a minute, you are, this garbage should not be in people's mind. You're ruining the finest sentiments of human mind.
Yeah.
Never used to say that. But it's gone now. It's just full board to the lowest common animal phenomenon. It's shocking.
Yeah.
That's what I read for you.
All right. Thank you.
But they made sutras exemplars.
Yeah.
And what comes out of their heart? Trash.
Yeah. Exactly. 100%. So devotees have a lot of work to do. Yeah. Devotees have a lot of work to do.
Prabhu is no unemployment problem.
Yeah. No unemployment problem, right? Saving, right, as Bajrang Swami used to say at the end of the downtown Harinams, right? Harinams, saving all the jagas and madais, in which there is no shortage. Right? So, all right. Grantrad Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yeah. Yeah.